Venezuela President Nicolás Maduro is scheduled to make his first court appearance in New York today after the U.S. captured him and his wife in a surprise attack over the weekend.
Maduro and his wife are now facing charges in the U.S. of narco-terrorism, conspiracy, and other drug and weapons offenses. NBC's Alice Barr joins us live from Washington with the very latest. Good morning, Alice.
Good morning, Marisa and David. President Trump has been ramping up the pressure on Venezuela for weeks, and now many Democratic lawmakers are accusing the Trump administration of misleading them about their ultimate goal, with lawmakers in both parties pushing for answers about what comes next. This morning, as deposed Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro prepares for his first court appearance in New York, charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy, President Trump again asserting the U.S. is in charge in Venezuela.
We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time. But the main thing you have to fix is a broken country.
That amid new details about the U.S. mission to capture Maduro and his wife and key advisor Celia Flores at their Venezuelan compound, including strikes from 150 American aircraft after a secret CIA team laid the groundwork for months. President Trump saying the country's interim president, a close Maduro ally, is now cooperating and must continue to.
If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
The president saying American oil companies will go in to rebuild infrastructure and take over Venezuela's rich oil supply.
They're going to take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property.
On a divided Capitol Hill, Democrats saying the administration should have asked for congressional authorization to strike.
Only Congress has the power to declare war.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio pushing back.
This was not an action that required congressional approval. In fact, it couldn't require congressional approval because this was not an invasion.
As Republicans defend the move.
Thank you, President Trump, for taking the action to protect American lives, to protect American interests.
And many Venezuelans who fled the country's authoritarian rule hope for a better future. Secretary Rubio argued the U.S. is at war with drug trafficking operations, not Venezuela, as President Trump suggested neighboring Colombia could be next. The top 8 congressional leaders are due for a classified briefing today, according to 4 sources, with lawmakers in both parties pressing for more information for all of Congress. David and Marisa.
Alice Barr, live from Washington this morning. Alice, thank you. As she was talking about the U.S., Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the president warning that U.S. forces could target leadership there in Cuba next.
I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro.
Mr. Rubio's remarks came Sunday after President Trump compared Cuba to Venezuela and accused Cuba's president of trafficking cocaine into the United States. The president of that country compared the U.S. operation in Venezuela to state terrorism and claimed 32 Cuban officers were killed in the attack.
Meanwhile, demonstrations happened across the country immediately after Maduro's takedown. Many people protested President Trump's recent action in Venezuela. In Austin, a large group of people gathered outside City Hall for what was called the No War on Venezuela protest. Some of the signs said no blood for oil and U.S. out of the Caribbean. In that overnight operation, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro was brought to the States to face narco-terrorism charges. Party for Socialism and Liberation says it categorically rejects the U.S. military's action.
We know that this, at the end of the day, is a power grab and an oil grab, and we know that this government is only trying to do this to line their pockets.
Venezuelans in the United States are divided over Maduro's recent capture. In El Paso, a man and his family were celebrating. They even closed their business early. He says he left Venezuela 10 years ago after escaping Maduro's dictatorship.
A Venezuelan will never feel happy about someone else's misfortune, but the feeling of happiness we feel today is incredible. Because of our country is somehow breathing the air of freedom today.
And in Venezuela, Maduro's supporters are not holding back their feelings as well. Protesters took to the streets of downtown Caracas demanding for him to be released, some protesters even burning an American flag.
Pope Leo XIV says that Venezuela should be left as an independent nation. Yesterday, he called for respect of human rights and civil rights. The Pope has been at odds with President Trump and his actions on immigration and foreign policy. In fact, last month, he urged the president to not use military force to remove President Maduro from office.